The Disappearance of Ashley, Kansas. Sometime during the night of August 16th, 1952, the small town of Ashley, Kansas ceased to exist. At 3:28 a.m. on August 17th, 1952, a magnitude 7.9 earthquake was measured by the United States Geological Survey. The earthquake itself was felt throughout the state, and most in the Midwest. The epicenter was determined to be directly under Ashley, Kansas. When state law enforcement arrived at what should have been the outskirts of the farming community, they found a smoldering, burning fissure in the earth measuring 1,000 yards in length and approximately 500 yards in width. The depth of the fissure was never determined. After 12 days, the statewide and local search for the missing 679 residents of Ashley, Kansas were called off by the Kansas state government at 9:15 on the night of August 29th, 1952. All 679 residents were assumed to be dead. At 2:27 on August 30th, 1952, a magnitude 7.5 earthquake was measured by the United States Geological Survey. The epicenter was situated on what used to be the location of Ashley, Kansas. The law enforcement investigated at 5:32 a.m. They reported that the fissure in the earth had closed. In the 8 days leading up to the disappearance of the town and the 679 residents, bizarre and unexplainable events were reported by dozens of residents in Ashley, Kansas, and law enforcement from that surrounding area. On the evening of August 8th, 1952, at 7:13 p.m., a resident by the name of Gabriel Jonathan reported a strange sight in the sky above Ashley. The town itself, having no official branch of law enforcement, called into the police station of the neighboring town of Hayes. Gabriel reported what appeared to be a small black opening in the sky. Within the next 15 minutes, the Hayes police station became overwhelmed with dozens of phone calls, all reporting the same phenomenon. The phenomenon was never reported by any neighboring communities. A decision was made to send a trooper of Ashley to investigate the matter on the following morning. At 7:54 a.m., the morning of August 9th, 1952, Hayes police officer Alan Mace radioed the Hayes police station. He reported that despite the one-way road leading into Ashley, he had become lost. According to his report, the road continued along its normal path, but somehow ended up back in Hayes. Officer Mace went on to add that the road never curved and never bent in any direction. At 9:15 a.m., 7 of the town's 10 police cars were sent to investigate the situation. All members of the team came to the same conclusion. The only road leading into Ashley stopped leading into Ashley, but instead led back to Hayes. Phone calls continued to pour into the Hayes police station, all reporting that the black opening in the sky continued to grow in size. All callers were advised to remain inside and to not travel outside unless absolutely necessary. At 8:17, Miss Elaine Cantor reported to her neighbors Mr. and Mrs. Milton and their 2 children, Jeffrey and Brooke, missing. According to their neighbors, Cantor's phone call to the Miltons attempted to leave town in their family car earlier that evening. They never returned. Law enforcement officials from Hayes never reported the car or individuals coming up the one-way road. At 7:58 a.m. on the morning of August 10th, 1952, phone calls from Ashley into the Hayes police station reported that the town was in total darkness. The sun had never risen. At 10:15 a.m., the request to the Hayes law enforcement, a helicopter from Topeka, Kansas, flew over the region in which Ashley, Kansas stood. The town was never observed from the air. At 12:43 p.m., on the afternoon of August 11th, 1952, Miss Phoebe Dolinsky called into the Hayes police station. She reported that her daughter, Erica, had begun to have conversations with her father, who died 3 years prior to a drunk driving accident. To her new concern, Miss Dolinsky reported that Erica was attempting to go outside into the dark to join them. Over the course of the next 12 hours, a reported 329 phone calls were made and placed into the Hayes police station. all describe a similar phenomenon with the children of the town. The next morning on August 12, 1952, the situation became dire. During the middle of the night, all 217 children in the town of Ashley, Kansas disappeared. A reporting 421 phone calls were placed to the Hays Police Department, unable to be any of useful assistance. Hays law enforcer instructed all callers to remain inside and to avoid any attempts in finding any missing children. At 5:15 on the evening, August 13th, 1952, Ashley elderly man Scott Luntz reporting a glowing, distant fire to the south. According to the description, the fire seemed that the distant black into the bright red and orange that Oh, sorry, I muted my mic. Let's start again. That seemed to extend high into the sky. Although the rest of the day, calls continued in, stating that the fire, in addition to moving north, now seemed to come out of the black sky. No fire was ever witnessed by any of the neighboring communities or law enforcement officials. The reports continued into 12:09 on the morning of August 14th, 1952. The last phone call, placed by Mr. Benjamin Encott, reported that the fire in the sky had grown so intense that it began to appear as daytime over to the town. The phone call ended abruptly. From the phone call placed by Benjamin Sherman Encott. Benjamin, just hold on. Wait. Continued silence. Yeah, I can see something. To the south, it looks like. Then the phone call ended. The next phone call wouldn't be placed until the following evening. The following is an entire transcript of the final phone call to be received by the Hays Police Department out of the town of Ashley, Kansas. It was placed at 9:46 p.m. the following of August 15th, 1952. This is the recorded phone call. The officer is on duty is Officer Peter Welch. The caller has been identified as Miss April Foster. Begin phone call. Hays Police Department. Muffled static. Officer Welch. Hello? Foster. Yes, hello. Ma'am, who am I speaking with? My name is April Foster. Coughs. Please, sir, help me. Officer Welch. What is happening, ma'am? Mrs. Foster said, Last night they came back. Officer Welch. Ma'am, I am going to need you to... Last night they came back. She started to cry. Ma'am, I'm going to need you to calm down and speak clearly. What happened? Who came back? She was sobbing at this point. Everybody. Officer Welch said, Everyone as in who? They all came in the fire. What do you mean, everybody? My son, last night. I saw my son last night. He was walking down the street. He was burned. Jesus Christ, he was burned! Ma'am, he died last year. I raised him since he was a baby. It was just me and him. I told him to watch for cars when he rode his bike, but he never wanted to listen. Officer Welch now speaking. Ma'am, if what you're saying isn't making any sense. You said everyone came back. Are you fucking listening to me? Everyone came back. Everyone who died or went missing. They're back, and they're looking for us. She's crying at this point. He said, Mommy, I'm okay now. See, I can walk again. Where are you, Mommy? I want to see you, sobbing. Ma'am, where are you now? Are you safe? I'm hiding, just like everybody else. We saw them coming through the fields, and now some people opened their doors to them. God, they screaming. Pause. I don't know what happened to them, but their houses caught fire and they caved in. I have my curtains drawn. I'm hiding in the closet right now. Silence. Ma'am, is everything okay? Silence. Ma'am. Oh my God. Ma'am. Muffled cries. Something just came in. Ma'am, stay as quiet as you can. Don't make a sound. Muffled. Mommy? Mommy? He came inside. Stay absolutely quiet. Don't leave. Sound of muffled footsteps. Mommy! Mommy, where are you hiding? Stay quiet. Sounds of heavy footsteps. Laughter muffled. "I found you, Mommy!" Inconcerned screaming and noise. "Ma'am! Ma'am!" End phone call. The following morning at 6:55 a.m., law enforcement officials of the Hays Police Department arrived at the location of Ashley, Kansas. A smoldering, burning fixture in the earth was all that remained.